G'day footy fans and welcome to Boothy's AFL Dream Team podcast. Here's my analysis of all the defenders that I've recommended so far in my 18 podcasts over the last 18 days. So what I've done is on the left there, I've got a team that you could pick, and I've done in rows across horizontally the D1 options, D2, D3 and so on down to D8. I've also mentioned down the bottom there who's having the buys when. There's an overview there in the yellow or orange background. And I've also got on the right hand side the players that I've changed my mind on or decided to not recommend any longer. And basically in a nutshell, they are Hooley, Montagna, Jack Martin, Gleeson, Tom Cole and Zach Guthrie, for the reasons listed there on the left, on the right hand side I should say. So, looking at the team on the left there, which is an example of what you could pick for round one in defence, I have Doherty 609 Carlton, Laird 584 Adelaide, Jake Lloyd 521 Sydney, Kolodnaski on the back of 30 possessions tonight in the JLT third game for Gold Coast, and also he averaged 83 Dream Team points in his second year of football after averaging 67 in his first, and last year in his third season he had a couple of different issues throughout the year that were stomach related. The club couldn't get on top of why he was having problems and struggling with his stomach. They got on top of it over before the pre-season started, and he's come back really fit. And as I said, he's gone 67, 83, injury interrupted with stomach issues, 73 last year, and then started with 30 posies, bang, today and looked fantastic. So he's a pretty young guy, 21, 22, coming into his fourth season, and he could be a special D4 pickup that other people don't get on top of. So he might be a different one, because a lot of people will be going for someone like Mills, who I've got there a bit further over. Stewart in D5 I have as the best value player in that line. At Geelong, mature age recruit. And on the back of losing Enright and, of course, Kolodnaski's brother Jake at Geelong, who is not playing any of the JLT games and is not playing this weekend, Stewart should have a position there and he's a cheap option and could average 60 or 70 points. Now, D6, 7 and 8 will obviously be at the moment, you'd imagine, between Hibberd, Vickers, Willis and Otten, probably those 3 and 6, 7 and 8. Which one is on the bench and which one's on the field depends on JLT 3. Otten's a reliable player who's experienced. Vickers Willis looked pretty good so far, and Hibberd gets possession. So have a look at this weekend and make a decision, but you might end up with all three in those last three spots. So that's a team down the left-hand side there you could pick for round one, as I mentioned, and that would cost you $2.773 million out of your $11 million overall. Now, of course, there are 8 defenders out of 30 players in your total squad which you need, and $11 million, so it would seem to be that between $2.6 million and $2.8 million is what you should spend in defence, and that's what I'm recommending you do. Some other options in D1 are Adams and Simpson, Johannisen in D2 or Hodge or Burgoyne, which could also be D3s, Smith from Collingwood, who, if he plays this weekend after his little ankle niggle, looks great in his second year but mature age and can get some couple of big 100 scores last year. So Zach Williams, who could have a great year and average 100 at GWS. Zach Tui, who started off beautifully in the JLT. Mills, who everyone's going to pick, but if you want to be different, go with some others along that line. McMillan and Brodie Smith from Adelaide. McMillan, North Melbourne, look good. D4, you got Cutler there from Brisbane. Salem from from Melbourne. Zach Jones from Sydney on the back of Heaney being out for the first few weeks with glandular fever. Jones could get some more time in the midfield and do a lot better than 3-3-3. Jaden Hunt on the back of his 37 disposals today, I thought 27 disposals, I should say, not 37. 37 means he's a lock. 27 means, he doesn't do that every week, but he's getting better and better, and last year was his first full year of AFL after being on the list for 3 years now. So he could be a really good value player at 342. Burn Jones on the back of Pittard going down for Port and not being available. Wellingham, who got 31 disposals earlier today on the back of getting high disposals the last 3 JLTs, all 3 of them. I think he's averaging about 28 disposals in all 3 games and nearly 100 Dream Team points, and he's an experienced player. So look, there's so many to choose from in that D4 spot. D5s, go Curtly Hampton in the midfield if you want something different. Marchbank, be careful with key defenders like Marchbank though, because if he's not chopping out marking it, if he's giving away frees and playing a bit closer, then he's not going to get as many possessions. He might be better off with a Hampton, who might run through the midfield, of course. McGrath from Essendon, who gets better every week, so watch his JLT 3. Thurlow coming back off a knee reconstruction, so be careful, but could be decent value, but I'd rather go with Stewart. Jake Kelly from Adelaide, 210 if he's in round 1, because Cheney's not right, possibly. but he doesn't get a huge amount of scores. And Atley could be picked as a D5 along with some of those others like Burne-Jones or Hunt or Jones, the other Jones, Zach Jones, if you wanted something different and want to be aggressive in your prices in defence. Now, the only other ones in D6, 7 and 8 that cost 150 are Newman and Morrison, who are in the squads for Sydney and Hawthorn respectively. But let's see if they play first, because they might not make the final 24-man team. And of course, they still need to get picked in round 1. So there's a lot to think about there. I've put them in what I think could be the order from left to right of what I think you could consider picking them. And you can see there, some of those teams I've got going down vertically end up with a price of, 2.731 million, 2.673 million, 2.617 million, 2.721 million. So the moral of the story is you're going to spend between 2.6 and $2.8 million in defence. And good luck picking those players. There's a few to choose from there. Try and be a little bit different and try and have a variety of teams covered throughout your selections. So good luck, and I'll be back tomorrow with some rucks.